Hi, and welcome back to the Count to 10 podcast. My name is Simon Sanborn, and I am a behavior focused teacher. And the reason why I started this podcast is I feel like communication is one of the biggest things that we're lacking in this world right now. So I thought behaviors and what I do for a living and understanding how the brain works and trying to help people navigate that, especially teachers. So teachers deal with behaviors every single day in classrooms. We all have kids at home, many of us have kids at home and know that day-to-day struggles can be just for the average kid, let alone a kid with a behavior disorder. But I'm talking about the average kid. So average kids have behaviors. So this podcast is just really to help people understand why those things might be happening, how we can change them, things we can put in place, management tools. And again, I talked a lot about Daniel Siegel, who is an incredible author and doctor of understanding how the brain works. So his books are fantastic. One I'm going to talk about today is The Yes Brain. And this is a fantastic one because it's kind of based, it's from the author of The Whole Brain Child, obviously, because that's the first book that I read by Daniel Siegel. But this one is kind of focusing on, contentious issues, screen time, the food we eat or choose to eat, those power struggles. So it talks a lot about power struggles, so that's why I thought that I would kind of talk about that today. And it can be power struggles between adults as well. Power struggles usually involve our ego. Kids' brains are developing, and they don't have a lot of control over some of those things. You talk about kids that are going into puberty, can get it even a little sketchier. So in an intermediate building like I'm at, which is 5 and 6 grades 5 and 6, it can be kind of difficult at times when it comes to power struggles because they are at that age where they're just kind of starting to crack into puberty a little bit, starting to get kind of, understanding that they have some power, right? They have some ability to stand up for themselves or make choices for themselves. And that's a wonderful thing, right? That's what we want our kids to get to as adults, for sure, to make good choices, be good people. So avoiding those power struggles can be a really big deal. The first thing I always go to when it comes to power struggles is the relationship that you've built or the relationship that you haven't built yet. So it's easy to get into a power struggle with somebody that you don't know very well, or a student that you don't know very, very well, or a teacher you don't know very well. That can be a pretty contentious situation. If we're both approaching it from the point of view of the 4 agreements, so I'm going to be really impeccable with my word, going to be honest and direct with what my concerns are, things I need to change, or things I need. And then not taking anything personally. I work very, very hard at not taking things personally. I had a good friend of mine who said he saw an interview with a gentleman who talked about that, and he was like, wow, just don't take things personally. He's like, that's a game changer. He's like, and this is so simple, and how come we don't know this? It was a pretty funny and kind of a sweet conversation. And he's like, do you do that? And I was like, I do it all day long, every day, trying not to take things personally, right? Not that I'm accomplishing it all the time, but I try not to take things too personally when people say things to me. So if I have somebody talking to me about my teaching or questions about my teaching, and in the midst of that conversation, there are pieces that I could probably take personally that are like questioning my work ethic maybe, or questioning what I do every day, or questioning why my kids behave the way they do or don't. Students-wise, all those things, I could probably take them personally. And some people might say, yeah, you should take them personally. Those things are all pointed at you. But if I'm taking them personally, then I'm not listening very well and I'm not learning. So if I have somebody, let's say I have somebody who says, man, your students are really not well behaved. What do you do every day to help them get better at this, right? I could very easily just step back and be like, what? Who in the world do you think you are, questioning my job? But I would be like, wow, that's a really good question. So what do I do every day to try to help these students behave differently? And for lack of a better word, better. Because I really don't like good or bad. Those 2 words don't meld well for me. I like a student to be working on things, and I like for a student to be accomplishing things. Negative biases, as you know, if you've heard this podcast before, negative biases are strong. So focusing on the negative is focusing on something that has a little bit more weight to it than the positive. So I don't like always focusing so much on it. Not that I don't address issues when need be. So let's go back to the idea of somebody questioning my my kids' behaviors and what I do in the classroom, I would be like, okay, I'm so glad you brought this up to me. What behaviors are you seeing in class that are concerning you? And maybe we can delve into it that way. Or, wow, that's a really good question. I'm so glad you asked me about what I do every day because I love talking to people about it. I teach these classes when things go, when things are not happening like they should behavior-wise. This is how we handle those things. These are the things we talk about. These are the forms we walk through with them so they understand their behavior better. These are the things that we talk about with them when it comes to having been restrained, or if they have had an issue with needing to be in a quiet room to get themselves together. This is how we walk through those processes. So again, you can see how it's two different things, right? Somebody can be addressing me, but what they're communicating to me is, I need to know more about this because I'm worried about it, right? We all run off of this fear, this fight or flight or freeze thing, whether we like it or not. It happens all the time. So when somebody's addressing me like that, I hear concern in their voice. I hear them wanting answers. I hear them saying, please help me understand this better. So me not taking it personally, even though I definitely could, me not taking it personally allows that space for me to go like, oh, I can inform this person. Oh, I can make this person feel better just by talking about a couple things. Oh, wow, this person really wants to understand what I do and wants things to be better in their classroom. So how can I address it that way? So last week I talked about the primitives and the ambassadors when it comes to relationships, like, with your spouse. This is it's the same kind of thing, right? Am I going to run off my primitives? Am I just going to be defensive? Am I just going to be angry? Am I just going to be, who do you think you are talking to me about my job? I know what I'm doing. I'm a good teacher. None of that's going to be productive for anybody. That's all my primitives, right? It's me going like, oh God, what's he think about me? Oh no, what's going on? Why is he questioning me? That's my fear, right? Manifesting itself. So if I can keep those things under control, my primitives, and I can approach this person in a thoughtful, positive way, or in a way that I do turn it around in my head and shift my mindset of like going, okay, this person wants information. I can give information. I can make them feel better. I can give them some understanding. The whole situation changes, right? So if they say, hey, what do you do every day? I see your kids in the classroom and they don't behave that great. So what are you teaching them? And then I say, who are you to say that to me? What weight do you have? What authority do you have to question me and my job, right? Now we have two primitives just battling back and forth, fear and resentment and all those good things just battling. Nothing positive is happening, right? So if I am then going to, if I'm going to use my ambassadors and say what I said, what I mentioned earlier of, God, I'm so glad you brought that up. I appreciate you wanting to understand better what we do in this program, or what I do better in my teaching, or how we manage our students. Be happy to fill you in about that. This is what we do, and launch into it, right? All positive, all learning. And the hope is, and the assumption would be on my part, that they're going to gain an understanding. I'm approaching it a certain way so that they can gain understanding. And if they gain understanding, then they have a better idea about how to approach me next time. Or maybe they have a better idea of how to approach somebody else next time. Especially if I end the conversation with, hey, I really appreciate you coming and talking to me about this. I appreciate you want to learn more about this. I appreciate you coming and finding out what we do in here, because it is kind of a mystery sometimes how things work or don't work. But thank you for investigating that and looking into it. I appreciate you asking me questions about it. My hope is that person walks away and says, I have a better understanding about how they do things now. And next time they have something that they're concerned about, when they approach somebody about it, they approach it in, hey, I just had a couple quick questions for you. I want to understand some things better. Can you help me understand this? So that's one example. I might just leave it there, but that power struggle can happen with students too, obviously, probably more often with students than with adults. But with students, it's the same thing. How are we approaching these students? What's the tone of voice that we're using? What's the look on our face, right? If I have my hands on my hips and I'm staring down at a kid and my posture is that way and my voice has an edge to it, if my face has an expression on it of disappointment or frustration or what in the world's going on with you today, those are sending signals to those kids. And whether we like it or not, those signals are going to go off in their brains. And so we have to be aware of how we're speaking to people, and it's not unfair to say, geez Louise, why can't these kids, know how to act, right? Not everybody gets the same training in how to act. And sometimes it takes us, maybe we're the ones that are going to be training them how to do that. I've had students who've come into my program who have had no socialization at all. They're kindergartners and they have absolutely no idea how to be around other people their size and their intellect and all those learning things that are happening. So it is going to take that kid longer to fit in. It's just a simple fact. And so do we then write that kid off and say, oh, he didn't get what he needed from his parents, or he didn't get what he needed from his guardians, so I guess he's out of luck? Or do we say, oh, wow, this kid really needs some help. This kid needs some structure. This kid needs to understand better how the classroom works. What can we do to help make that happen? That's my favorite part about being a behavior teacher, because that's the exciting part right there for you. How do we help? The student success is all that matters. All that matters is this kid finds his path in life, feels good about who he is, feels good about his place in the world. How can we make that happen? And I'll tell you, I have the joy of getting to watch one of my students graduate. And it's an incredible thing to see somebody come to this big crossroads that in our society we really put on a pedestal, getting your high school diploma, and he's pulled it off. He's pulled it off in flying colors, and it really reinforces for me what we can accomplish as teachers, because I didn't do that. He did that, and all the people along the way who loved him and cared about him and wanted the best for him did that. So there were a lot of people that are involved. And again, like I said, a lot of hard work on that individual's part. So pretty happy about that. That's all I got for today. Thanks for your time. I know you're taking time out of your life to listen to this, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for doing that. If you ever want to get a hold of me, Simon, SYMON, Sanborn, SANBORN, @gmail.com. Constructive criticism always is great. I have a sideways camera now instead of an up and down camera, due to somebody being thoughtful and letting me know that it might look a little bit better this way. And then if you have constructive criticism, please give it to me. I'm happy to take it. If you have a lot of opinions, nasty opinions, you just keep them to yourself. I'm okay with. I don't have to hear that to do this and be successful in my job. But if you have ideas, if you have things to share, if you have questions, if you have bumps in the road that you're bumped into and you're like, oh man, I don't know what to do about this. It could be with your own kid at home. It could be you as a teacher with students in your classroom. It could be adult interactions. I was a coach for quite a while and really enjoyed it and liked doing that as well. And the idea of coaching with behaviors and coaching on behaviors between people, that to me is like a dream job. So let me know if you need anything on my end. And I love to present other people's ideas too, because I come up with these on my own. And I think that other people, more brains are better than one, for sure. So thanks so much for your time again, and take care of yourself, take care of each other. And just remember, being kind in this world goes a long way. And we can all use a little bit more kindness and thoughtfulness in our day-to-day stuff. So I'll leave you with this. I had a teacher tell me the other day, hey, do you know this one student? And I was like, nope, I don't know who they are. And she goes, well, he says that you're his favorite teacher in the building. And I go, really? And she goes, yep, he says that you every morning or most mornings, he sees you and you say hi and it's good to see him. And I was like, oh, okay. So not to toot my own horn, I'm just trying to give that example of you never know what kind of impact you have on people. And so the idea that me walking around this building and on a regular basis, just saying hi and smiling and greeting people has that kind of effect, that means anybody can do it anytime. So give it your best shot. It can't hurt to be kind and thoughtful. And love is what we need in this world right now. So thanks for your time. Have a great weekend.